Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the Greek colleagues, Mr. President, for this wonderful invitation. Secondly, you really touched us with your testimonials. I think it's our duty to get these testimonials also in our countries, so someone and something is changing. We hope for that, we work for it. Thank you for that. I'll give a very short explanation about the Belgian community pharmacist landscape. We all know for the moment that in Greece there is one pharmacy for 1,000 people. Belgium is not so far away from that. We are within the top 5, and for the moment there is approximately one pharmacy for 2,250 pharmacists. These are figures of 2011. I think already much has changed. So here we see the evolution of Belgian pharmacies. We see that at the top we had approximately over here the number of pharmacies was approximately 5,250, and you see that the green line we're going down year from year. We are going down, and now for the moment we are even going more down. It's approximately 4,940 pharmacies. At the meantime, we see that the inhabitants in Belgium are growing, so the number of inhabitants per pharmacy is growing again. It was beneath 2,000 people. Now we are approximately 2,250, as you can't see here. That's some key figures in Belgium. What's important that here, as everywhere else in Europe, we have growing older people, older population. Approximately 20% already is 65 years and more, and it's growing the next year. Everyone knows that. We also see here that the number of pharmacists, we are approximately 12,500 for these 4,937 pharmacies. In regard to the GPs, you see that the number of pharmacists is nearly the same, but we have approximately one pharmacy for 3 GPs. These are the most important things over here. The legal framework in Belgium, the ownership, in fact, every physical or moral can own a pharmacy. It's free for everyone. But there is a subject to preliminary authorization to open a pharmacy. The repartition of pharmacies, there is a moratorium framework, so there can't be any new pharmacies. So every pharmacy that's really closing is lost, is going away, it can't come back. And the repartition is ordered according to geographic and demographic criteria. So medicines, all medicines, not only prescription medicines, but also the others, are reserved to pharmacies. And the internet sales are only for non-prescription medicines. These are the numbers of pharmacies. You see they're going down. And at the same time you see here that most of the pharmacies belong to one owner. We are a land of independent pharmacies, and we try to keep it that way. We see that these figures are pharmacies, mostly pharmacies. Some others can own pharmacies, sure, but most are here between 1 and 6, between 2 and 6. And more than 6 is a real small part. There is one chain, only one chain in Belgium, who owns approximately 100 pharmacies. That's Lloyd's. But in Belgium we've got a special situation. We've got OFACO, and OFACO is the organization of pharmacies owned by sick funds. Sick funds, that means politically driven. We've got, in fact, Christian and socialist sick funds who own these pharmacies. These are chains, but they are not really competing us. They do it, they drive a pharmacy just like we do as independents. They say that they are the social pharmacies. In fact, they are the most commercial pharmacies in Belgium, but we know that. They exist and they have influence on the politics, and in fact, that's not bad for us. Talking about Lloyd's pharmacies, they really act as independent pharmacies. They are organized as a chain, of course, but each pharmacy and each pharmacist in this pharmacy act really as an independent pharmacy. So that means that the image of Belgian pharmacists is not changed, nor by the chains like Lloyd's, nor by OFACO, the sick funds pharmacies. So we see here for the moment the number of pharmacies. 3,800 pharmacies are with one owner. There are 600 for these OFACO owned by sick funds, and approximately 100 for Lloyd's Pharma, who is part of Silesia. In fact, we have no real retail pharmacies in Belgium. You could say Lloyd's Pharma is a retail pharmacy, but they don't act as retail pharmacies as we know it of the Anglo-Saxon model. Not at all in Belgium. So, all the pharmacies in Belgium respect the image of the Belgian pharmacist with an accent on pharmaceutical care. What's important also that is the pharmacist who stands in his pharmacy. He's very active, participating in his pharmacy, and it's the pharmacist who is serving the patients. So we could see that the number of assistants is nearly higher than the number of pharmacists, and these assistants do mostly the technical work. They make compounding medicines and all these things, but serving the public is in the first time for the pharmacist, and that's really important, I think, because we have the knowledge, the education to do that, and the patient feels it. We are near to the patient, and that's a really strong part of Belgian pharmacists. So we have a high number of pharmacies, that's true. Our pharmacy scale is not too big. That means we are near to the patient. In fact, the earnings are acceptable for the independent pharmacist. No one will agree about it. We always want to earn more, but it's acceptable. And the way we are organized means that the scale advantages are minor. And that's the way, because the earnings and the scale advantages are there, that we think we are not really attractive for the big organization of retail pharmacies. We hope it's true, and we hope to keep it that way. And that's why we want to slowly change the repartition law in cooperation with the ministry. Before the elections a year ago, we did great lobby work with all the political parties to explain what we are doing and why it was so important to have independent pharmacies. And they all listened to us, and they all promised, you never know with politicians, but they all promised that whenever they got in the government, they would follow us and they would change these things. So for the moment, we have a government already for 1 year. What's the success in Belgium? And we see that we continue our lobby work. The only party that wasn't following us was the Ministry of Health, who is a very kind lady, but she is very liberal. She's a liberal party. She is blue, let's say dark blue, and she was not following us. But as there was so many pressure of other parties, we came in talkings, and there is an evolution, and even there is not yet an agreement, but an agreement that we will have an agreement in the way we want it. That means we are not really changing the basic principles, we are adapting it. As we have now one pharmacy for 2,250 inhabitants, we think it could be a little bit greater, going to 2,500 or more, because advantage of scale is important. But the main and the basic thing we ask, and they agree, that we will have pharmacies as there is a need in population. So pharmaceutical care, that's important. That means if we have some areas where there are many older people with many needs of medicines and pharmaceutical care, that means that in these areas there can be more pharmacies. That's the way we want to change it, and for that we agreed to use a geographic information system that really defines clearly the needs, the population, and the needs of the population of really small parts of the whole country, in fact. And we are trying to get a well-defined algorithm to make the repartition of pharmacists in accordance to the needs of the patients. It's a difficult thing to do, but I think it's the way we have to do it, and if we realize it and have objective criteria where there is no discussion on it, we are far going in top better. So that means also that that system is really dynamic. That means if there is a change of population, elder people and all these things, that means the system can change. That you have, for the moment now, you've got 3 pharmacies in a certain area. If there are coming more older people, there can be 4 things. So all these things we would to regulate really clearly to have an objective system for repartition. Thank you for your attention.